Hey, Chick Brew.
Hey, T-Bone.
Let's pretend like we're starting for the first time.
Okie doke.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. The T-Bone.
And Chick Brew.
Let's God bless. All these years, just get it right one time.
What do you want from me?
40 years they've been trying. You couldn't fire somebody if they were horrible, doing a terrible job for the veterans. And now you can say, you're fired.
Okay. No one listens to radio.
And now for a quick disclaimer. The T-Bone
And Chick Brew.
show is brought to you by nobody. We have no sponsors.
The show is still rated G.
For glorious. Hello, hi, my friend. How are you? You look so professional with a headset on and a microphone in your fizz.
My phone and my fizz?
You with a microphone with your headphones on and a microphone in your fizz. Yes.
You froze for a second, and I thought I don't know what you were saying.
I'm thinking the freezing may be with me because I was having the same issues earlier during the interview. So let me close out some of the other things I got going on, maybe to isolate my bandwidth, if you will, so that maybe I can stop popping in and out so much.
Well, now you're moving.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So let's talk about your setup. It feels like we're back in the studio together. You look so professional.
Because my desktop, I don't know what it's doing. Yesterday, it was fine. Of course, I was moving around on the internet. I was like, this is fantastic. Because then I was like, I can leave everything plugged in. I will never have to unplug anything. But today, Riverside, it wouldn't open. Like, it opened the tab, but then nothing populated. So I don't know. I'll have to get in there and play with it. But other than that, everything is nice, set up. I got the headphones, and you're back.
Yeah, with the exception of that, and that is kind of troublesome. And it's crazy because the lag still picks up the conversation from where it ends. So if I were to get stopped right now and then several seconds from now pick back up, it would pick me up at exactly where I was. So that's going to be a challenge in the edit, and that could just be an internet thing today. Like I said, I was having the same issue with Slade, so I doubt it's a you issue because, you know, I like to blame you for everything.
I assumed it was me, but everything says I should be firing on high Wi-Fi, so...
It looks good. You sound good, and if you sound good now, that means less work for me later. So I enjoy that. I appreciate that. So it's Memorial Day weekend. Tell me what's going on in your world.
Man, nothing. I thought I was going to do one thing this weekend, but that fell through. So I ended up yesterday just doing some chores, hanging out with the dogs, and then today I went to brunch with a friend. I was playing with Rupert today, and he hurt his paw. And so bad that when I tried to touch it to see if it was like bleeding, I thought maybe he had like snagged his dew claw or something. He actually like whipped his head back like he was gonna snap at me. He's been a little sluggish today, and I feel bad for him, but he's resting. So
you know, but that happens with dogs. Dogs hurt themselves, and it's never real. It doesn't always have to be a trip to the veterinarian. Just a couple of weeks ago, me and Zeus went out. We were running. We were having a good time, and I saw something afflicted him. Something made him move in a way that he doesn't normally move. And when he came over to me, I checked both of his paws to see if, you know, he got a thorn or anything like that to see if he was bleeding. And he wasn't. He did something wrong. Like, you know, he twisted it or whatever it was. And it was temporary. And of course, when he gets home and he's limping, you know, his mother's always, oh my God, we got to take him to the vet. Oh my God. And I'm like, no, he just did something. He's okay. He'll be fine. And a couple of days later, he healed up real nice.
yeah, I didn't like panic. It's not that bad. I figure if it's not better in a few days, then I'll worry about it. But he's not limping. You cannot touch it. You cannot touch it. I thought he had like a sticker or something in there, but no. I mean, I can't really judge him, and I'm just standing up. So
yeah, a sticker, a thorn, or a splinter. It could be anything. And you try to find it. And if you can't find it, the only thing you can do, well, you can do two things. You could take him to a vet, and if you've got money to throw around, that's the way to do it. God, I miss my Spain vets. I miss her so much. She was such a wonderful veterinarian, and she was her prices were freaking awesome. And like most things, I don't want to share my information with other people because if it's something I really like, I don't want to share my secret. But there she is. Her name is Christina, and God, so many Christinas in my life. And she's right there at the end of the park in Rota, the Parca de Laguna, the lake park in Rota. And she's amazing. And Ignacio, her husband, they work together, and they've got great prices, and they take care of a lot of wonderful animals. And I found them to be better than the on-base vet. Nothing against the on-base vet, but her prices were Spain prices for Spain people. She didn't have the gringo markup. So I really enjoyed Christina and Ignacio there at the place whose name I can't remember.
Like, Dr. Javier, I'm certain that he kept Rango alive for like 2 extra years. I learned all about cat blood transfusions and led my brain to just like a bunch of little cats with IVs getting, I am a blood donor. How does that work? I still in their phones. So whenever we call, oh, it's Rupert's mom. Hi.
There was something about blood donor. You gave blood to your cat?
No, cat blood donors. I didn't know that cats could get blood transfusions. I didn't know that there was synthetic cat blood and real live cat blood. And when I was discussing these options with Dr. Javier a few years back, he said, would you prefer we use synthetic or regular? And in my head, all I pictured was a bunch of little Toonsista cats driving to donate blood with their little cat paws.
Did you go with the synthetic?
Yeah.
Synthetic cat blood. Last week, when we got done taping, I spent hours looking at midget rodeos, or dwarf toreros. And this week, I'm going to probably be spending a lot of time looking at cat synthetic blood and donations. There's so much I want to know about that whole situation.
Right? There's so many questions left unanswered.
I had 2 cats as an adult. I had Poseidon and Polaris. I kept Polaris for many, many years. Poseidon decided to go on his own, and when we brought him back to the States, he just disappeared, never to be seen again. But my Polaris was my cat. Strange. All right, so here's how that worked out. So we got Poseidon, and he was a little tiny little kitten. Oh, I have a little kitten. I got a kitten. And there's nobody in the house except me, the ex-wife, and the kitten. And I'm going to work, and we pick up this solid black cat, and he's a big, big boy. He's been living in the wild. He is well fed. He's a big cat. Probably one of the largest cats I've ever seen. Probably around 20 pounds. Large cat. And just as gentle and loving as could be. So we kept him in the security building hoping to find his family, and his family never showed up, and it was the last day, and he was going to go get the big green needle, and I didn't want that to happen. This was a really nice cat. He was really cool. So I took him home. I granted, I had just gotten a kitten, and now I'm bringing home a full-grown, big old wild cat. So I bring the cat home, and he made noises that I've never heard before. Deep, guttural growls that stroke fear into my heart. I slept that night behind a locked door with the lights on because this cat I had invited into my house scared the bejesus out of me. And it was just him getting settled and him figuring things out, and he ended up staying with me a very, very long time, and my oldest daughter had to put him down because I was away, and he had gotten to the point where he was too old, and when she told me this story of putting my cat down, it broke my heart for 2 reasons. It broke my heart that she put my cat down, and it broke my heart that my daughter had to put my cat down. Both of those, that hit me. I'm tearing up right now. That hit me on a next level,
I mean, losing a pet is never easy. I mean, I remember our dog from when I was in high school, so like 20 years ago. I remember that day. I remember when Rango passed away, he passed away here at the house. Like, you never forget them. And it sucks every time.
My very...
Sweet, sweet animals.
I always have to freaking do a disclaimer when I talk about my first pet. All I could say is it was a different time. My first cat was a black cat, and he had been attacked by a woodchuck, and we got him all fixed up, and we took care of him, and he was our cat, and he stayed our cat until he died. And when he died, he basically froze to death, which tells you how cold it was in New York back in the 70s. I can't say my cat's name, not because, I didn't name the cat, okay? My dad named the cat.
So I can don't say it. We'll never get our bidet.
No, I can't say it. I can't say it, but I can tell you every once in a while there'll be like a thing like to protect your account, we're going to ask you these truth or dare questions. And one of them is like, what's the name of your first pet? And I know the name of my first pet, and I don't have a problem telling that to like an automated system, but God forbid the time comes when I have to talk to a human being.
Waiting for them to one day be like, sir, could you please confirm that?
So they ask you, what was the name of your first pet? And I'm like, ma'am, I don't feel comfortable giving you the answer to that question. But for the record, I didn't name the pet. My dad did, and it was a different time.
I'm crying.
And it's not that I was callous, but I lost a lot of pets, so-called pets. In Texas, the number one pet killer of the family wasn't the highway that we lived right beside, which took a couple of pets, but was my dad's engine. So it would get cold.
Oh, no.
It would get cold, and the cats would climb up in the engine to stay warm, and Dad would get up in the morning, and he'd start up the engine, and fur would just go flying, man. I don't know how many. It was to the point that after the first pet, still I can't share his name. After the first pet, all of the others were just cat and dog. We didn't take time to give them actual names. They were just cat and just dog. And when they died, we got another cat or we got another dog. And we lost a lot along the way. There was King. King was... I don't remember how King died. King was a retired police dog. And again, this is back in the 70s or the 70s. Definitely the 70s, when a retired police dog was just given to a family with like no training whatsoever. Like, we used to use this dog to kill people. Here you go. You can have him. Just feed him every day and hope for the best.
Mission prayer.
But because all of my pets died as a child, it didn't really hit me. It didn't affect me as much as my adult pets dying or being put down by my now adult children. That was a double whammy. So when we decided that we were going to get another animal, I can't tell you how often I think about the end state. For two reasons. One, I was hoping that I would outlive the dog, which almost didn't happen. And and two, every day, as much as I love him and as much as I care about him, I think about the end, and it just... I try not to focus on it, but it's there, and it hurts me. And the boss lady, she's the same way. She's like, oh, I can't even think about it. Can't even talk about it. I was like, I don't want to think I would talk about it either.
It does, and it's weird because it sits on your shoulders. And I can't tell you, there's so many stupid things that I think about when it comes to my dogs. When I was in New York, I was like, oh my God, Rupert would love to sniff this city. Could you just see Rupert? I was like, he'll never come to New York. Like, that's just not. And how sad is that my dog will never get to smell New York City? He doesn't know. He doesn't care. He's excited by sniffing the same trees on his walk every day. It doesn't matter. But that made me really sad. And then of course, you think about when they're not there anymore. And that's even worse.
It's ridiculous the love an animal, a dog. Now, I'm not going to say cats or an animal. I'm not going to be that clear. The love a dog gives you is so unconditional. Mm-hmm. I've never once. I say that and immediately, no, that's not true. I love my dog and my dog loves me. That is clear. But there are times when I am upset with him, and there are times when he is upset with me. As a Rhodesian Ridgeback, one of the prominent features of the breed is that he has a permanent mohawk. The hair on his back grows in the opposite direction along his spine, and it looks like he's got a cool mohawk. And when he is displeased with me, I get the ridge. I don't get the hand, I get the ridge. He will sit right next to me, facing away from me. He will not acknowledge me in any way, shape, or form. And he lets me, and it's funny, because I belong to Rhodesian Ridgeback groups, and I take pictures of him when he does this to me, and I ask the question, does anyone else experience this? And a lot of people, so many people experience the same thing. They just call it the ridge. Talk to the ridge.
Granger is like very needy. He wants you to pet him at all times. If he's mad at you, first he yells at you and tells you all about his situation. And then he goes and gets on the bed and curls up so that his back is to you. He goes as far away as he's willing to go to his comfort spot. And then he faces away from you, which means he's just looking at the wall. And then Rupert goes in his crate. He's like, I am done. That was a treat for me, and you did not give it to me, and I am done.
I am curious if I could do that with the wife. If I could just show her my ridge. If I could just show her I am displeased with her, turn my back to her.
And she will taser you in the tuchus.
Well, I mean, because when he does that to me, I'm immediately apologetic. Immediately, I wanna hug him. I want to make him feel better. I want him to turn around and not have his back pointing at me because he's my puppy. If I could use that same mentality with the wife, I think there's something to this. I think we should try it. All of us.
No, never put your back to the enemy. It's dangerous. You're exposed. You have no telling of when you need to use a defense.
I had a lot of things I want to talk to you about this week. I am always excited to talk to you because we only talk this way. But on the line right now, we have Slade Ham, world famous comedian, very funny man who's been doing it for years and years and years. He's got a project out there, and we're going to talk about it right now. I am so excited. I have been waiting to talk to you about your upcoming project or your currently ongoing project. I have refused to look at anything about it or support it in any way until I had this opportunity to find out from you firsthand what is going on. So can you tell us what it is that you're doing?
Tony, I said, you know what? I'm not waiting anymore, man. I've been doing stand-up comedy for 23 years, right? Like this is my life, this entire planet. And I've seen a lot of the planet doing this. I think 56, 7, almost 60 countries worth of stories. And I finally realized I've got some stuff worth saying. I'm no longer some young buck 5 years into the game who's wondering what's going to happen. I learned some things and I've put some of it in order, and I'm shooting a stand-up special. And instead of going out and trying to land somebody to produce it and try and figure out who I'm going to talk into helping me make my dream happen, I realized one morning, I was like, you know who woke up thinking? Me. I'm the only person who woke up thinking about that. So I was like, I'm the only one who's going to make this. So I've gone out and I launched a Kickstarter, and I learned we did a successful, I've shot and directed some films before. I'm not a newbie at this, and I know what I'm doing, but we were doing a Kickstarter. Andy Huggins, legendary outlaw comedian Andy Huggins, we shot his special last summer and we just landed distribution for it. So I decided mine is next, and I've given the opportunity to my fans to kind of come on board and you get on board as a producer of the film to participate, and I'll give you some cool stuff in return. I always make some handwritten or hand kind of done art projects for thank you notes, and like I said, you can get your name in the credits, you can get a signed copy of my book. There's a lot of cool fan stuff to get, but mainly in this day and age of like comedy specials coming out, and I've got a lot to get out myself. So I think it's the perfect marriage of all those things, all those circles overlapping. And I'm going to put one out that I actually own and can stand behind and am proud of without having to wait for Hollywood to come bang down the door. I'm taking everything I've learned, and I make some pretty great films, and we're almost 90% of the way to the objective right now. So it's going to coast into home. I think some cool producers on board. I'm excited. I don't know if you can tell.
Of course, it looks like you've lost some weight. Are you eating?
I am. I'm in the best shape of my life. Dude, I am in the. There's something to, bro. When you get your teeth into an artistic bone, when you're like, not just. I've been doing, like I said, comedy for 23 years. I've always been this guy. I've been a road dog. I've been out there working the clubs. I've driven 1 billion miles. I've told jokes to every drunk in the world. But when you wake up with purpose and you're like, man, I'm gonna make this thing. I'm doing this. This is what I'm doing right now. No, I can't do that. Because I've been a while, not since I wrote the book, and this is my this. So I'm eager and excited about it, man, in ways that I don't think I've been about a lot of things, and that's led to all of these other elements of my life improving. So I'm eating healthier. I'm going on long walks and think it's all of that just turns into, it makes you a better person, or at least it makes you feel better on the in and outside.
You say you're 90% close to getting to your goal. For those of us who haven't researched at all, what was your goal? How much did you need to make this happen?
So I launched a Kickstarter campaign, and it was important. Kickstarter differs from a lot of the other programs you've seen out there, like GoFundMe or Indiegogo. Some of those that give you whatever money came in, regardless of whether or not it holds you accountable for a bit. And in my instance, I wanted to show the audience I wasn't messing around. Hey, look, if we don't get the money, I'm not making this. I don't want to make something I don't want to make a $5,000 comedy special. That's not what I'm trying to make. I'd rather not make one. Viable amount. We're 90% to, I think, 13,500. So there's still some opportunity to get on board. And the cool part is, if we pass that up, I'm only putting all the money into the film. So that just means better lighting and the extra camera. So if we get to that point, I did Kickstarter.com, search for Slade Ham. The special is called Signal to Noise. So we'll definitely advertise that. Signal to Noise. And anyone who hasn't seen anything that Slade has done in the future, or in the past, and in the future, the Slade Runner series is just I said I need to know answers. How does this special go? Does it do well? Do people laugh at the jokes? I'm talking to the people who have seen me in the future.
But as far as camera work goes, over the years, I've seen you do some amazing camera work. You motivate myself to do better when it comes to the product that I release. So I'm looking forward to anything that you do in the comedy realm. We'll be sure to put it out there. We'll be sure to encourage people. And I'm telling you right now, I knew I was going to commit some funds to this project, but I wasn't going to do it until after we spoke. So I hope to get you a lot closer to 100% now that we have finally spoke about this.
Well, I'm good. I'm glad. Excitement is contagious, man. This is the best stuff I've ever written, and it's not political. I'm taking some chances here, and I think I'm saying some things in a few places, and I think if you're a human being with a little bit of objective intelligence, that if you walk into this with an open mind, I think you're going to be really, really amazed at what I end up making.
Can you tell us what's coming up in the future? Aside from the special, where could somebody see Slade Ham now if they were looking for him?
So I'm on tour through most of the summer. I've got some dates in the South. I'm going to be up in the Great White North in Canada for 2 weeks just prior to taping. And then we're looking at taping the special hopefully mid-August here in Houston. So just online with the Whiskey Brothers podcast. And then I host a solo podcast called the Slade Ham Experiment. It's a half hour of me every week. It's a lot of fun. If you're an artist, there tends to be a lot of usable advice, actually, which is a byproduct of sort of the stuff I'm talking about. But it's all, if you go to my YouTube, a lot of cool things, you can kind of see a bit more about who I am, and it's all on my YouTube page at Slade Ham.
Well, I'm going to tell the audience, as a fan of the Whiskey Brothers, and of course we're PG, we're more G than PG, but we're mostly G, occasionally PG. The Whiskey Brothers, maybe not so much, but extremely entertaining, and the show you do individually, I've seen through various aspects, and I have canceled canceled other plans to watch, especially like the one you did with Titus. I canceled everything I was doing to watch that show. So you're doing amazing work, brother. I wish nothing but the best for you. And you are always welcome to come in here and give us 5 minutes to let us know what's going on in your world. We enjoy having you. You're one of the funniest people I know out there. Most tolerant people I know out there. Because as old road comics from back in the day, you know there's a lot of smack talking that goes on, and people get their feelings hurt so quickly. And you are definitely a stand-up, and I love you for that.
Thank you so much, man. It's always good to be here. It's always good to see your face, and I'm excited about the project, man. I can't.
Thank you, Slade. It is always awesome to have you on the Lunds B Show with T-Bone and Chick Brew, and you are always welcome as... All right, Chick Brew has joined us. J-Bone has joined us just as Slade is getting ready to sign off. Have a seat. Relax there, J-Bone. So, all right. So I just completed the interview with Slade, ladies, because he was early and you were both late. So Slade, thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you. I know you're busy. All right. And we're going to work out the technical issues. J-Bone, go ahead and have a seat. Slade is gone. And Chick Brew is working through her microphone issues. We did an interview today. You have such a serious face. Ooh, you're so serious. Ooh, you're so serious.
Yes, that's my face.
Having just done the interview with Slade, I got to let you know that J-Bone is in here and she is ready to go. She's in a hurry, so we got to get her done because God knows she doesn't want to just listen to us.
And now, J-Bone reads from the book Forgotten Jokes for Older Folks.
Hi, T-Bone. Hi, Chick Brew. So today I'll be reading two jokes. Two jokes that are themed, Thou art what thou snacketh upon. Remember when they said chocolate was bad for us? Now they're saying it's rich in antioxidants, and it's actually good for us. Frankly, I'm not surprised. I have always known that Hershey's would look great in an IV bag. The older you get, the tougher it is to lose weight, because by then, your body and your fat are really good friends.
I almost want you to read that second one again, just so I understand it. Can you read that second one again?
Sure. The older you get, the tougher it is to lose weight, because by then, your body and your fat are really good friends.
All right. Did you mark them off in the book so we don't ever have to hear those two jokes again? That it is. Forgotten Jokes for Older Folks. Read to you by J-Bone and her fake-ass laugh. Go ahead. Do it again. That was a more genuine laugh. What's the one you do? It's so fake.
Okay, bye-bye. Love you, bye. Loves me.
Oh, I hate to see you leave, but I love to watch you walk away.
Oh, little baby boy.
And now, for something you'll really like. Hey, now that we've done those, you know what I'd like to do? I'd like to talk about this. It's time to talk about cooking.
And tonight prove one thing. You know all.
I received a PhD in cooking knowledge this week. I can't wait to share it with you. But it's so good, I'm going to let you go first with any cooking information you may have.
I don't even think I cooked anything recently. I mean, I made some dinner stuff, but nothing great. It's been a really busy week, so you go on ahead.
I saw an interesting recipe that I'm willing to try. It is deviled eggs made for breakfast. Hold on, I saw your eyeballs light up there for a second. Think about this for a second. You're making an egg in the deviled style, but whereas you use the yolk and the mustard and the mayonnaise, you also put some breakfast sausage in that. and you cook up a pancake separately. You cover it with pancake sprinkles, and you put a little bacon in there. So you got a strip of bacon, you got your yolk concoction that's got breakfast sausage in it, sprinkled with pancake, covered with maple syrup.
Okay, so you said that, and I was like, I know exactly how I would make this, which is not the same.
Oh, okay.
I would take one muffin tin.
You love the muffin tins.
I love the muffin tins because it makes things carryable, portable, handheld food. I'd take the muffin tin, I'd put hash browns in it, I'd spray the bottom of another one, weight it down, put it in the oven, bake it. So then I have a little crispy. And under that, I would put my pancake, and then I would put my deviled egg with the breakfast sausage, or that's how I would do it.
This is why you were a chef.
Because now my mouth
that sounds so much better. Even though what I saw on TikTok was very good, your version sounds so much better.
You know why? Because you could take it with you.
Yes. Well, the other one you could take with you too, but it only had the durability of a standard deviled egg, whereas yours has the durability of a reinforced deviled egg. Can you do an Instagram video? Can you do a YouTube, a TikTok video of the new and improved deviled breakfast egg?
Next time the commissary actually has hash browns or anything like a frozen potato, I will get some and I'll give it a shot.
How do you make homemade hash browns there, chef?
It involves a lot of grating and soaking, and it's too much.
Braiding and soaking?
Grating, you gotta grate.
Oh, grating.
Yeah.
Why do you have to soak it?
To help pull out the starch, and then you have to do like a parboil so that they'll crisp up. It's a lot.
That seems like a lot more than I thought. When I go to the Waffle House, I don't think I've ever seen a grater.
No, they're definitely bought all of the hash browns from the commissary.
I am currently on day 36 in a row. 36 days in a row. I don't want to talk about that. We'll talk about that in the Resolution Rewards Challenge segment that's coming up. Let me phrase what I'm about to say in a way that doesn't include where I'm at with that. I have been working out for over a month, but I haven't really lost any weight. So I decided to change up my diet. I'm going to do a protein shake for breakfast, eat salad for lunch, a salad without the pepperoni, without the mozzarella, without all the delicious stuff, a calorie-reduced salad for lunch, and then a reasonable dinner. And doing that and continuing to work out, I was hoping to lose a little bit more weight. But there's some things that I add to my day. I usually take a yogurt with me, a tiny little yogurt, high in protein yogurt, because yogurt's good for you, so I'm told. And instead of going to a vending machine and buying a bag of Doritos, Cool Ranch, or extra spicy, or whatever the heck is in the vending machine that day, I have been taking a small baggie, and in that small baggie, I've got a handful of dried figs, dried dates, and another dried passion fruit, and a handful of almonds. I see your face, right? You're like, that's good. That's healthy. Holy no. Holy, oh my God, no.
Your pants.
I know. I do this for like a week in a row. I'm working out. I'm eating healthy, and I'm snacking reasonably. So I believe.
It's a lot of sugar.
Until one day, I happened to notice the calories. The first one that caught me was the calories on the figs. Now, again, I grab a handful. So you're talking about 4 or 5 figs, all dried up. And they're all dried up and delicious and good, and they make you feel like they're good for you. They are like 130 calories per serving, and a serving is 2.
Yeah.
Yes. And the figs are like 150 calories for a serving size of 5. And the passion fruit is like 200 calories for 2 tiny little pieces. And there were like 5 bags of Doritos in this one bag of what I thought was a healthy little snack bag. Was 1,000 calories were in that freaking bag that I was eating every day as a snack. So my big food knowledge journey adventure thing for the week is check the freaking labels, people, because and these fried fruits, they're expensive. They're not cheap. So I bought them thinking they were good for me, but they're just concentrated sugar packets. Now I have to eat them because I have them and I don't want to throw them away. But I made this discovery the day after I bought a whole bag of dried kiwi, which is amazing and delicious.
Well, kiwi itself is good for you. So maybe, because you have an Instant Pot, right? Do you have the one that has the dehydrator and air fryer and stuff?
I can air fry with my Instant Pot. I don't have a dehydrator.
Okay. I would say, because you could do your own dehydrated fruit that way, and then you would miss out on all of the extra sugar that they use as like a preservative, and that would probably bring your sugar and calorie count down.
Oh, or I could just stop. Because, I mean, you know, if I took an extra yogurt with me, and when it was time for a snack, I took a yogurt, and I know that's like 120 calories for some good protein.
Right.
And taste. Oh, the taste of these yogurts. So when I was growing up, you had two options. You had Greek yogurt and you had Yoplait. And Yoplait were tiny and small, but in the bottom of them there was something awesome. There was something awesome in the bottom of a Yoplait, whether it was like strawberry jam or marmalade.
Yogurt.
There was no way that was good for you because there was a concentrated pocket of sugar in the bottom of these tiny little cups.
Corn syrup with something that may have been fruit at one point, but was probably just congealed jelly.
But
I don't really like yogurt though.
You have the strangest food isses.
I know,
you hate chicken, you hate meatloaf, and now you don't like yogurt.
I will eat yogurt like I will eat chicken begrudgingly. Because it has like all these healthy things, so I will get it down me gob.
But you don't like turkey either.
I do like turkey.
It's just chicken you don't like.
I don't like chicken. I like hard-boiled eggs, but I don't like I'm not. If you said like, hey, do you want a fried egg? I would be like, not really. If you like scrambled eggs, I'd be like, nah.
Did they teach you how to make Scottish eggs?
Scotch eggs, those wrapped in bacon and then breaded.
Yeah.
I know how to make them, but that's not. You can't eat that every day. That's dangerous. You'll die.
Yeah, of course. Well, first of all, you're going to die of something. Second of all, a Scotch egg like once semi-annually. Those things are amazing.
Well, I feel like that I wouldn't taste the egg, So I remember school, like the second day they made us taste 7 eggs, 7 different cooking oils. We had to cook the egg, and that was like the worst day of school by far.
Because you had to eat 7 eggs.
Yeah, so the idea was we all know what an egg tastes like, right? So to get an idea of what these cooking oils taste like and how they feel on a food you're familiar with, they make you cook an egg in each cooking oil. And, like olive oil was obviously the best. And then we did just a regular veggie oil. But then there was weird ones, and you think like, oh yeah, duck fat, that's gonna be fantastic. It wasn't. It was not great.
How about ghee?
We did cooking ghee. It was fine. But the one that like I absolutely hated, and then I was mad because it was like right after olive oil, so it was like the second or third one we did, was sesame oil, which was like the worst. Don't ever do it. It's terrible.
Really?
Don't ever do it. It's
how does it taste?
No, it's not great. And then I had that taste of like eggy sesame oil, which is crazy, right? Because you make fried rice, which generally has egg and sesame oil in it, and it's fine. But
you're not cooking it with sesame oil. You're cooking it with vegetable oil.
As a focused flavor, that's not it.
Yeah, the sesame oil is an additive for flavor, not for the cooking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it was bad.
Yeah, I don't. And you said the duck fat was bad.
It wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be, because I mean, I love duck fat. Put the duck fat on.
So when it comes to poultry, you're good with eating duck.
Oh yeah, I love duck.
You're good with eating turkey.
Yeah.
What other poultry? Cornish hens? Yes or no?
I don't know that I've had. That's the little ones, right?
Yeah.
Nah, I feel like I've seen them, and I would never go for that. I would never be like, I should eat that.
Okay.
I've eaten puffin before. That was fantastic.
I thought puffin was a protected species.
Not in Iceland. It's the only place you can go in. Yeah.
So you ate a protected species in a country where it was okay.
Yeah.
And you're okay with that.
It was fine.
And what's worse is you said it was delicious.
It was delicious.
Those polar bears must be onto something.
They have all of the right ideas.
Hey everybody, it's T-Bone. Did you know you can listen to the Lunsby Show on the iHeartRadio app? The team at iHeartRadio has created 2 new features on the app. You can now auto-download to your device and be notified whenever new episodes are released, all for free using the iHeartRadio app. And you can listen to the Lunsby Show from anywhere. iHeartRadio. Discover music, radio, and podcasts you'll love. When we have guests, when we have company, we have to kind of move the program along a little bit quicker. But I'm feeling confident that we're going to get our hour in to keep Mr. Thomas happy. So moving on.
And now it is time for headlines from around the globe.
Generally, I ask you, do you have any headlines for me before I play that? I'm assuming you do have some headlines for me.
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait to hear it.
German surgeon fired after asking hospital cleaner to assist amputation.
Again, with these long headlines. So last week you gave me a short headline and we had a blast with it. Now we're back to a dissertation, a sentence headline with a punctuation. There's a comma and a period. German surgeon, basically, if I understand the headline correctly, ask a janitor for assistance in an amputation.
Yes.
Was the German wearing clothes?
He was not a landlord.
If you know anything about what I think about Germans, I know that I have seen more naked Germans than any other nationality. How does that happen? You got to think this through for a second. You're inside, you're getting ready to do an amputation. And you know nowadays when you do an amputation, you got to go out of your way with like tattoos or permanent Sharpies explaining this is the leg. Do not touch this leg, touch this leg. When I wake up, I shouldn't see this leg, with a dotted line cut here.
Because that means that errors have been made.
Yeah, you have to take those extremes because, oh man, it's so heartbreaking when you read a headline. It's like, man has wrong leg amputated during surgery, because the reason for the amputation still exists with the other leg, and they got to go in and get rid of the other leg. So what the headline doesn't tell you is both of the things got amputated. But what was it that could possibly be amputated at this German hospital that required the assistance of the janitor? If it is an extremely obese person, and it's time to amputate the leg, that could be too heavy for one person to carry, and then asking for the assistance of the janitor doesn't seem that egregious.
I mean, how many people are normally in an operating room? Sitting there by himself. Was it just the janitor? Was he like, you're here, it's Tuesday, why don't you help me out?
But the people in the operating room are delicate people. And the janitor, he's not even going to be in the operating room because it's a clean environment unless they call him in. Like, hey, Willie, I need your help. Can you come in here and help me lift this slab of beef off the table and put it over into the little red garbage bag? Because there's no way my 5 interns can lift this leg on their own. It's either that the chunk that they removed was so incredibly massive, he needed a manly man to help him throw it in the red garbage bag, or he didn't want to touch it. It's an amputation of a sensitive area, if you will, or something just really gross. So gross that when the doctor who has to make the amputation finally chops the thing off, whatever it is, he's just revolting in the corner. And he's like, Willie, please put that in the red garbage bag, Willie.
So I'll tell you, it's more scary than that.
Oh, joy.
The person who's being amputated on was only under a local anesthesia and became
aware.
Agitated. And the surgeon asked the cleaner to hold the leg and hand him
the saw.
Basically, yeah. So
I now live in central Pennsylvania, and one of the areas to visit if you're ever in central Pennsylvania, and it's appropriate that we're talking about this on Memorial Day. During the American Civil War, one of the largest battles that took place was in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. That's when the forces of the South met the forces of the North, and it was very bad. It was fighting that went on for several days. There were many, many casualties. One of the largest battles of the Civil War. Why do I say that? I say that because I recently went through a tour and they talk about the armaments that were used and the damage that it did and the medical treatment that they received. And the bone saw was...
Leave me here to death.
The bone saw was the primary medical response to most injuries that occurred in Gettysburg. And during the Civil War, it's like if you got shot in the forearm, take it off at the elbow. If you got shot in the shin, take it off at the knee. You got shot in the femur, take it off at the hip.
Merely a flesh wound.
Yes, 'tis merely a flesh wound. And there was no anesthesia.
Yeah.
There was no anesthesia available. They would allow them to bite on a bullet. The phrase "bite the bullet" literally comes from the bone saws of the American Civil War when no anesthesia was available and the only thing that could keep you from screaming was to bite down on a small explosive in your mizmouth.
And you had no teeth left and it exploded.
Yeah. So there's that. That was a good headline. It was a good story. It wrapped it up nicely and tied it into Memorial Day. Good job.
And
You got
the history lesson, which I loved, by the way.
What's that?
Please go on. I love the history lesson. Go on more tours because I want to hear about them.
Oh, I do history. I'm not afraid of history. You got another headline for me?
Of course. Bear barges into Connecticut bakery and scarfs up 60 cupcakes.
Only 60?
Right? Yeah.
All right, now Connecticut is not a place that is known for its bear population, but bears exist. They exist, and they're big and they're beefy, and when they want something, you don't really have the opportunity of saying, "No, bear." You get to say, "Hi, bear." "Hey, bear." "Hey, bear." Remember, that's how you greet all bears when you come across them in the wild. "Hey, bear." But, I wouldn't have stopped at 60. I would have been in the back because the thing with bears, when they're out of their environment, even if they don't mean to be, and they're very dog-like. Bears are very dog-like. I've seen it. There's a lot of people that have been able to domesticate bears. You can have a bear as a pet. I don't recommend it, but you can. But when you see people who have bears as pets, you see a lot of qualities that are similar to a dog. They want to be loved and cared for and caressed, but because of their size, most people don't realize, the bear themselves don't realize that they're causing problems. Like it's like when you go to pet a baby elephant, the baby elephant lays down on you and you realize, this baby elephant weighs 400 pounds, get this thing off me. and bears, brown bears are the same way, black bears. You don't want to mess with brown bears.
No.
Not trying to make this into a race thing, but when you have a choice between brown and black, leave the brown alone. The brown are the bad bears. Black bears are the nice bears, as far as bears go. Wait a second. Leave the white bears alone. Definitely leave the white bears alone. The white bears will eat your ass.
On the way to that day.
Brown bears. It is completely reverse in the bear kingdom.
Because I'm the nice one.
Yes. No, wait, you're brown. No, you're not.
The nice one in real life.
Yes. In real life, you're nice, but in the bear world, you are not nice.
I wish I was a bear. Then no one would pick on me.
But, a bear comes into a cupcake shop and starts eating cupcakes. It's going to be happy. It's got, what do you call them, handheld portable cakes?
Handheld portable cakes?
It's got handheld portable cakes. It's happy. It doesn't want to do damage, but it's so big, it doesn't realize that,
like a bear in a cupcake shop.
It doesn't realize that when it turns to the left or the right, that things are going to fall over and break. It's not trying to break things. It just wants the cupcakes. The problem is bears are pretty smart. And once they realize that they can get cupcakes from that location, they're coming back. That's like you're giving him a name, Hey, Yogi's here. Everybody step behind the bear curtain so we can give Yogi his morning supply of handheld portable cakes. Oh, those are some good headlines. Thank you so much. Why don't we go to the Book of Everything?
Everything is everything. What is meant to be will be.
Every week, we kind of talk to the audience as if they're listening for the very first time. And that's not always necessary, but sometimes it is. This week, because we've got a lot of stuff to put into one show, we really haven't been explaining everything that's going on. We've just been going through it. And I don't feel the need to change that with the Book of Everything. Here we are, our first fact from the Book of Everything. In 1251, Henry III was given a polar bear by the King of Norway. He kept it in the Tower of London on a long chain so that it could swim in the Thames.
That's the most British thing I've ever heard.
In 1251, Henry III was given a polar bear by the King of Norway. First of all, what do we know about polar bears?
Tried to assassinate. Oh boy! I will take your weapon of King Destruction, put it on a chain, and let it swim in the Thames. This is the most British thing ever.
What do we know about polar bears from the Book of Everything?
They don't have chins.
That is correct. We also know they're all Irish. And we also know from this book alone that they are all left-handed. All polar bears are left-handed, they are Irish, and they do not have chins. These are facts. And in 1251, when Henry III was given a polar bear from the King of Norway, he put a chain around its throat and let it swim in the river.
That's the most British thing ever. I see this assassination attempt. I've made it my slave, but I will let it swim in the river.
Speaking of the Toms, weren't you supposed to be there this weekend?
No, that is mid-June.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll talk about that when they're happening. Here we go. Another fact from the Book of Everything. There are more than 35 places called Lebanon in the USA. At least 38 Springfields and no fewer than 50 Greenvilles.
Oh, I believe that. I feel like everywhere. And every city, town, county has a Martin Luther King Jr. Street.
I don't think that's true.
I feel like it is because I don't know how many times someone's been like, on our Martin Luther King Jr. Street. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's there's a lot of towns that haven't gotten on board with MLK Ave yet. There's a lot out there that have, but not a lot of them. So out of the 35 places that are called Lebanon in the United States, my local VA hospital is in Lebanon, and I was there on Friday. I was actually in Lebanon, and it came up in the Book of Everything. I also, once upon a time, for a very, very brief moment while my family was on the run from the authorities, lived in a Greenville. Greenville, so how did that work out? I don't know. I was a child. Here's what I do know. I need to shut my mouth. That's what
now, geez.
It was a good plan. It was a good plan. It worked out, obviously, because that's how that thing. I need to shut my mouth at this point.
Anyways, birthdays.
Oh, yeah, it's time for birthdays. Time for birthday boost. And again, with the not explaining any of the segments this week, because we do that every other week, who gets your birthday boost?
Tim Drake.
Oh, Timmy!
Yeah, that man gives the best hugs.
He threw an apple at me as a chief selectee. I would never give him a birthday boost.
He's fantastic. I love Tim. Tim is like the grumpiest old man, but then if he likes you, he's so nice, but he does give like really good bear hugs. And sometimes you need that. Happy birthday, Tim. I'll probably see him this weekend.
Well, when you see him, let him know that we talked about him on the Lunsby Show with T-Bone.
Throw an apple at him?
What?
You want me to throw an apple at him?
I would freaking love it if you threw an apple at him.
The commentary actually has apple on Tuesday. I will try to find an apple and track him down and throw it at him.
All right. So we just did an interview with Slade Ham, and I've talked about him. Oh, man. I started an in memoriam section for postings, and I just see a name that's going to go up in that. That one hurts me. Who is going to be my birthday boost this week? I'm going to give it to Dave Bowman, and I may have given one to Dave Bowman in the past. Big Wave Dave, selling real estate down there in the Norfolk, Hampton Roads area. Retired Navy Master Chief friend of mine that I enjoyed a wonderful journey with. I was interested in the purchase of a Cadillac, and I found in my experiences that the best way before buying a vehicle that you're interested in is to rent it for a few days and see if you like it. So I was interested in the Cadillac CTS. I rented one, and me and Dave drove to Millington, Tennessee for a Manning conference. And while we were there, I had a wonderful time. I had a wonderful time in Memphis. Memphis is a very fun town. I was able to be the employee of the week at the Holiday Inn Express. I was able to be the customer of the week. I whatever the award was, I was going for the awards, and I got them all. I did the whitest thing I've ever done in my life with Dave Bowman. I went to Graceland.
I've been there.
I have also been there. Not only have I been there, I took a poop there. Which, which as a large man, is an extra scary experience. I really did enjoy the Graceland tour, and I told Dave while we're there, if I find an Elvis costume, I'm going to wear it all the way back to Jacksonville. 16-hour drive back to Jacksonville, Florida. But in case you've never priced an Elvis one-piece, They're a bit pricey, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, and that's if they were in my size. That wasn't gonna happen. And instead of Martin Luther King Boulevard, we went back across Elvis Presley Boulevard. Actually, Martin Luther King Boulevard is not very far away. So we go back across Elvis Presley Boulevard, and there's a Chino store there that had Elvis costumes for a much more reasonable price, and I did drive the 16 hours in my black Cadillac with Dave Bowman beside me.
Classic.
In an Elvis costume. And I'm telling you, every time we stop for gas or a break or anything, people absolutely love Elvis. And it doesn't matter if you are Elvis or just dressed like Elvis. People want to take photographs with you, and they want to talk to you, and they want to have it. It was such a fun time. So
my
Dave,
best friend's mom growing up had 2 front rooms in the house. You walked in the front door, but there's 2 rooms on each side. One was the Peacock room, but the other side was the Elvis room. And it was, my family is not a family of collectors, but I will tell you, gnarly. The love of Elvis.
So that's my first birthday boost of the week, and I want to give it to Mr. Dave Bowman. I wish you nothing but the biggest, the brightest, and the best. Happy birthday, brother.
Did you start an Elvis room around your Elvis one?
No.
One-piece?
I remember walking into the house when I got home that day wearing the Elvis costume, and my wife was blown away. Because I was a hunk of burning love.
You're something.
All right, who is your second birthday boost?
My second, Well, I see one, but I won't take it because I know it's yours.
I doubt it.
Oh, okay. I will go with Beth Wynn over at the fitness center. I'm pretty sure she could bench press me. But anywho, happy birthday, Beth. I made a cake for her son's birthday. I don't think she eats sugar because she's the strongest woman alive.
My second birthday boost this week is going to go to the one, the only. Maybe he listens, maybe he doesn't. He listened to us when we were on the radio, but I don't know if he's ever listened to us on the podcast. Mr. Derrick Holden, another Master at Arms Master Chief that is now retired. I love D. We had a lot of great times together. We worked together a lot, and he was great people and just genuine and deep felt. And his wife is a lovely lady who just minds her own business and does her own thing. I remember I seen her one time at a khaki ball, and I didn't know who she was. We were just hanging out, and she's like, "You don't know who I am, do you?" I was like, "No, I don't." She goes, "I'm Derrick's wife." I was like, "Oh my goodness, I didn't even know he was married." But such a classic dude, man. And ever since he's retired, he's just hanging out and living life and being large in charge. I love you, brother. I wish you nothing but the biggest, the brightest, and the best. Happy birthday to you. How about your honorable mentions? Who you got on that list?
I got Joey Mojica. I have Lisa. She's getting married soon, so good for her. Ben Woody, Kelly Howard, Cody Day, and Robert Nurse. The third.
That sounds like a good list. I got Candice Leffingwell, Manuel Rodriguez Cotan, Paul Bucky Bruckner, Chris Peterson, Heather Faye, Brad Freeman, and what is Manolo? Yeah. So, when you're living in Spain, you got a couple of names that everybody seems to have, and then I forgot. So Manuel Acuna Ramos was not my landlord, but a person who worked for my landlord or for the Ferris Company. And I forgot that Manuel is commonly referred to as Manolo in Spain. Jamie Prost, Tommy Day, Joe Brewer, Deborah Moore, Joey Kelly, and Pedro Ramirez, all celebrating their birthdays this day or this week of this episode. And in the memoriam section, unfortunately, I have to say I miss you, Miss Grandma Lee Strong from America's Got Talent, and basically just a Jacksonville comic from years and years and years. A lovely lady, very funny, who got into the game late in life, but so funny. Happy birthday. Rest in peace, Grandma Lee. And to all of you, we wish you nothing but the biggest and the brightest and the best. Whether you got an honorable mention or whether you got a birthday boost, you all matter to us. That was a show. That had a lot of content. It hit all the wickets. We had some good laughs. Again, we only guarantee one laugh an hour. Oh, we didn't have to mansplain all the stuff that we talked about, and we got a couple of laughs in along the way. So there's that. I'm ready to wrap this up this week, and I want to remind you, as I always remind you, ladies and gentlemen, just be the best person that you can be. And if you were a great person today, be an even better person tomorrow.
And don't forget that you are loved.
Thank you for listening to T-Bone and Chick Brew. If you enjoyed that show, you should check out the Darrell McClain Show, independent media that won't reinforce tribalism. We have one planet and nobody's leaving, so let's reason together. You can find the Darrell McClain Show at the same place you actually listen to this show. Give it a shot.
Oh, man, I forgot to test the bumper music.